Hey guys, Shane Kempton here with this week's update. Thought I'd give you a summary of our breakfast meeting. Although we had a great turnout of just under 200 people, there's quite a few of you that didn't quite make it, and there was some good information that we shared there that I want to make sure that you guys get a hold of. The theme of my keynote was the first 50 days of this year. I wanted to check in to see how you're tracking, whether you're on target or off target, whether you needed a hand to formulate a plan for 2015. So we started off by saying good coaching starts with great questions, because if you ask great questions, you get great answers. So the first question I asked the audience was, who is your competition? And I got them to write it down, but ultimately your competition is a three-letter word, which is you. You're the only competition that's out there. You just got to make sure that you're better than what you were last year. The next question I asked was, what are the big 5 things you need to do this year by the 31st of December? And this don't necessarily have to be work things, but what are the 5 big things or the 5 big rocks that you want to get completed by Christmas time? It's something to do with your inner life, your family, your career, your wealth, your health, your lifestyle, etc. What's 5 really big rocks you'd like to achieve? Because once you've got clarity in your life, you can really start to master your life. So that's the whole idea about having a clear direction of where you want to be by the end of this year. The next question is, what are 5 new beliefs that you need to install? This could be beliefs about money, success, health, wealth, ability. What are some of the beliefs that you had that aren't working for you? Because we've got to be constantly asking ourselves, how is this belief serving me? And all a belief is a thought that you've repeated over and over and again. We talk about this in our Most Powerful You coaching, and we question beliefs. When someone says something to you, maybe it's about scripts and dialogues, or it's about role play, and you might have a belief about that, and it's preventing you from doing these things. You've got to ask yourself, how is that belief serving you? Because some of these beliefs will be holding you back, and some of these beliefs are limiting beliefs, and they're roadblocks to your success. So you've got to be constantly asking yourself about any belief, how is it serving you? And then if you need to, replace it with some more positive, constructive ones. The next big thing we want to talk about is, what's your game-changing move for the year? What's the one thing that you can do every day this year and beyond that's going to change the game forever? It could be something like getting up early every day and having your power hour. It could be doing 5 things before 8 o'clock in the morning. It could be that you start exercising, and that exercise gives you more energy so you can achieve. It could be 10 calls before 10 a.m. Maybe that's a new habit you can start this year. You might need to give up something. You might need to start something. It could be daily learning. Or it could be that the people that you hang around with, maybe you've got to find some new influences or a new circle of genius that can help you. But as Aristotle said, what we are what we repeatedly do. And so that is just excellence. So excellence is just a habit. So the things that we do every day are forming our habits, and our habits make us successful or not successful. The next thing we asked, what are the things that you're measuring, or more importantly, what are the things you aren't measuring? Because what gets measured gets done. What doesn't get measured doesn't get done. So make sure that you're tracking your lead measures, and they're things that you can influence and control that have an influence on the lag measures, like your listings, your sales, etc., or your property managements that you take on, etc. But there's a list, you've seen this list before, of just a dozen or so things that you should be tracking every day to make sure that you're hitting your targets. Training hours is the last one down there. You've just got to be working harder on yourself than you do on your job. This year it's all about out-thinking, out-training, and out-behaving our competitors. The last little question I asked there, what are 3 words that sum you up? Obviously I know you're more than 3 words, but it's good to know that when things get really complicated, and sometimes it will, that you can just boil yourself down to these 3 things and stay true to these 3 things. It could be that you're inspiring, encouraging, it could be that you're loving, whatever it is. What are the 3 things that make you up, and stay true to those things when times get tough? Now, talking about measuring things, or before I get to that, sorry, if you're going to make some changes at the first, understand that change is hard at first. It takes some discipline. It gets a bit messy in the middle, but it's got to be worth it at the end. So make sure you're changing things in your life that's going to give you better traction. Small daily improvements over time lead to massive results. Dream big, start small, but most importantly, act now. What is the right next step you can do from after watching this presentation to get you on track? Now, I talked about measuring things, and I practice what I preach, and one of the things I'm a big believer in is measuring our marketing to making sure we're getting results. And when I talk about marketing and the different strategies that we use, we've got our direct response strategies, which is like our lead generation, that we put an ad out and we get a return. And our other side of stuff is brand recognition. That's building community capital in the area, our brand recognition side of things, more the long-term strategies. In regards to our direct response stuff and our lead generation campaign, you can see by these results here that our first 4 months were very successful in regards to the number of leads that we generated, over 300 leads. Out of those 300 leads, it created 35 listings. The disappointing thing about this is that us as professionals only got 5 of those 35 listings. And that's just to do with it. We've got to understand the type of lead this is. Just some other stats that came out of it. Average time to go to market about 7 weeks, so between 6 to 8 weeks when the majority of the leads came through. Our conversion rate was at 14%. We need to get that up to 25% as a minimum, considering that we're first in the door. And I guess the things that we can learn out of our lead gen and the things that I'm applying is that we've got to be efficient, so reduce the time from when the client asks for the report to receiving it. We've got to qualify them a little bit further. We've got to nurture the leads and move them from research stage to ready stage. And then we're going to expand our lead generation system into property management and some other systems to create leads. But I guess the critical bit of intelligence out of this is that majority of these people are in research stage. They don't want to speak to a human just at this stage. We need to nurture them and build them up to that ready stage. And we do that by sending them good quality information. And I'm working on a communication platform for you guys to use and to share that's going to help nurture those leads from research to ready. The final little thing I want to talk about is our brand recognition and just taking advantage of what's happening this year with the 100th anniversary of the landing in Gallipoli and a couple of initiatives that we're going to do as an aside to our already stuff that we're doing for the community with the National Breast Cancer Foundation. This stuff here is not going to interfere with it. It's a side thing. It's not a sponsorship or per se. It's just a couple of one-off events that we're going to work with. First thing we're going to do next month is we're going to launch, we've designed these flyers to send out. They're basically not asking for any business, it's just aligning ourselves with Anzac Day and the dawn service. And the first slide you can see there where it says thank you, you won't be able to change that. The second slide there, you'll be able to change and put the address of where you've got a local dawn service in your area. Now, if you're a regional area, you can change the Kings Park cenotaph with your local cenotaph, something along those lines. But you'll need to speak to me about that because Printforce won't allow any changes other than the addresses on there unless they speak with me. It's just to keep the integrity of the flyer and also to make sure that it remains respectful and appropriate for that time of year. But I think it's really important that we support what's going on. And we're going to be doing some work with Soldier On as well. We've got a couple of events that we're going to sponsor. There's going to be a centennial breakfast the day before Anzac Day, and we're also going to do a Remembrance Day Golf Day. Just 2 little events we're going to do. All the proceeds raised from that are going to go to Soldier On. Professionals will be the major sponsor of those 2 events, and we will just be dedicating the manpower to help run those events. So 2 really good initiatives. There'll be some information going out there. Again, this is not to replace National Breast Cancer Foundation. It's just another thing we're going to do this year, considering it's the 100th year. You can order the cards through Printforce. They're available online through your online ordering system. Support these guys. Great value. Align yourself in the community. All right, that's it from me, guys. Have a great week. Stay powerful and look forward to catching up with you at the next event. Take care.